Good morning, this is Patty Blagojevich filling in for Don Wade and Roma. The bad news is I'm filling in for Don Wade and Roma. The good news is Don Wade and Roma will be back tomorrow. Here's what I believe is actually a healthy component, but I used to get criticized all the time for a lot of things, and this is one of them. We used to fight a lot. You know, I was always fighting. This is what they used to say about me. Mayor Daley used to tell me, you know, what are you doing? Why don't you, what are you fighting all the time for? Why don't you travel? Why don't you take some trips? What are you fighting for? And, you know, Daley wanted a big tax increase. Now, the reason he wants the tax increase from the state is he's not the one doing it, but for every dollar that's raised by state taxpayers, the city of Chicago automatically gets 20% of it. So they get 20 cents for every dollar that's raised by a state income tax. During good economic times, these state budgets aren't that hard to work with because the money's coming in, because the economy is good, people are working, businesses are growing, and tax revenue at the current rates increases because more people are spending money and people are doing well. So there were some good years and there were some hard years. I inherited the biggest budget deficit in history when I was first governor from George Ryan, and among the ways we balanced it was, again, didn't raise taxes on people, refused to do that. I increased spending for programs like health care, historic increases, in fact, and I'm proud of that. Historic increases on education, I'm proud of that. Preschool for all 3- and 4-year-olds, I'm proud of that. A lot of the Republican listeners probably don't like those and that kind of spending, but I actually increased spending in those areas. Didn't raise taxes on people. You know, I'm rough on Pat Quinn, and I feel totally justified in doing it because I feel like he's totally betrayed ordinary people by socking them with a massive tax increase when he didn't have to, and by then taking programs away from senior citizens, health care from some children, and then taking free public transportation away from senior citizens that help them get around. The Democrats down in Springfield, my party, is leading the people. We're supposed to be the party of the people, protecting the little guy, the ordinary guy, the small business owner, against the rich and the powerful. You're supposed to be a voice for fairness, but instead it's all about solving the problems of state government on the backs of the little guy, the ordinary working person in Illinois with the biggest tax increase in Illinois history, 67%, but they're not satisfied. That's not enough. State Senate President John Cullerton now wants to tax pensions for people who, senior citizens who are earning more than $100,000 a year. He wants to look into taxing retirement income. So on top of a 67% increase in the state income tax, Senator Cullerton wants a tax increase on retirement income. Winston Churchill said, democracy, the worst system ever devised by man, except for all the rest. It's frustrating, it's imperfect, the process can be ugly, it can be disappointing, it can undo the idealism you might have. It's an extremely cynical process in so many ways, yet we live in a world that is imperfect. And as a result, you got to do the best you can. And if you look at our system of government compared to all the others throughout human history, this one is the one that works the most. The philosopher Santayana said, those who fail to heed the lessons of the past are condemned to repeat them. When Donald Trump fired me on his Apprentice show, part of the reason was apparently I didn't know how to text. I'm determined to not repeat that mistake, and so I've been texting, and I'm getting pretty good at it. And now I've got a Twitter. So you can follow me at Twitter at Governor Rod. You can follow me at Twitter at Governor Rod if you have any interest at all. And some of you that are texting in here with some of those comments, feel free to write those nasty comments into my Twitter. It's a free country.